Hello, and welcome to day 2 of South Summit 2018. What a shame, because I have these lovely shoes you can't see. Anyway, my name is Helena, and I'll be your MC on this stage this morning. Who was here yesterday? Well done. Didn't we have a good day yesterday? Intense, but interesting. For those of you who weren't, shame on you. You missed a fantastic day. But the good news is that we have a powerful one today. Would you like to know what's coming? Well, you should know what's coming. Don't you read the program? Well, no wonder. You know, I just ordered some glasses to read that. It's because we have everybody, the top. Okay, we couldn't start the day in a more powerful way today. You are the lucky ones. Yes, because we have with us a very special guest. She is probably, atención al dato, ojo, eye to the data. Esto es, menos mal que no tenemos traducción. Eye to the data, she's probably the world's, hang on, the youngest world champion in the history of sport. O sea, ni Rafa Nadal ni nada, eh? Sorry, Rafa, we love you, you know. The youngest, I repeat, the youngest winner, hang on, es que es muy fuerte, the youngest world champion in the history of sport, and living example of what it means to have a talent and take it to the limit. Her amazing skills, her passion for sport, and her competitive skills have taken her to win 10 world kitesurf championships. She is the first, and the first one, she won it when she was only 10 years old. 10 years old, come on, guys. I could hardly ride a bike at 10. This woman was flying over there. She feels comfortable in the sky, and she does in the water. Because let me tell you, she's a modern mermaid with iron legs attached to a board and wings to fly. Do you want to meet her? Yeah. Do you want to meet her? Yeah. Let's welcome Gisela Pulido! Woo-hoo! A legend! A legend! Welcome, Gisela. And Eva Cruz. Sorry, take a seat. She's Eva Cruz, a lovely journalist from Cadena Ser. And she needs a bit of Red Bull because Red Bull gives you wings. You don't need wings. You already have wings. Welcome, Gisela. She's a total legend. So thrilling. I'll leave you with them. Eva, thank you very much.
Thank you. As you've been told, Gisela Pulido was only 10 years old when she won her first kitesurfing world championship in 2004. I'm going to say that again. The girl was only 10. She came from a country with very little kitesurfing tradition, and she beat weathered professional surfers when most little girls are only dreaming about what they might become one day. Since that first world championship, she has been the best female kitesurfer in the world another 10 times, and she's only 24. I'd like to help us understand how a career like that gets off the ground and develops, and try to extract some lessons which might be useful for all of us. Your passion, Gisela, is obvious. Your passion for your sport is obvious from everything you do and everything you've done. Do you ever run out of motivation?
First of all, thanks for having me here. It's an honor to be here with you guys, and thanks for coming as well. Well, I didn't run out of passion because I always had that passion for water sports, especially kitesurfing. And I don't know, it's just something I have inside of me, you know, that when I wake up every day, the only thing I do is I look at the window and see if there's wind, if there are waves, and I schedule my day depending on the conditions. And yeah, I just love what I do. I love the feeling of being on the water. And for me, the hardest thing is to be here today because I'm not having a session at home. I'm not kiting or like being on the water, you know, so this is what I miss the most when I'm traveling, you know. I miss being at home and kiting and surfing and, you know, doing water sports.
Do you have a favorite piece of sea?
Well, I think every spot has something special. I really like Tarifa because it's you know, it's a pretty cool place where the Mediterranean finds the Atlantic Ocean, so it's like pretty cool. But then, you know, I travel to Hawaii, Australia, South Africa, Mauritius. There are like plenty of really, really good spots where you can ride. But Tarifa is my favorite because it's my home, so it's where I have my heart.
Mhm. How does success affect motivation? Because 10 world championships does that mean that another world championship is a bit of been there, done that, would like another challenge?
I think success, it could be like a good thing or it could be a bad thing because it depends how you accept it, right? When you win the world title, it could be so easy to be like, oh, I'm the best already, I don't need to train anymore, I could relax, and just do something else. Or it could be the other way around. It could be like, oh, I want to win another world title, I'm going to train more to be better, to improve my skills in the sport or in everything, So it could be like either way, or either you could lose your motivation and get all relaxed and distracted, or you could be even more happy and positive about it. So for me, it was more this one, and that's why I won 10 times, because at the end of the year, I always was super motivated and super happy to start the next season. No? So it's something, that I had inside, so it's pretty cool.
There haven't been very many, there have been no failures in your life to date, or very few.
There have been.
How does that figure in your psyche, being such a driven person, when things don't go the way you want them to go?
It's pretty hard because sometimes things are not in your power, like for example, right now I'm not competing. One of the reasons that I'm not competing is because of course, I've done it 12 years and I needed a break, but also because the world tour kind of fell apart and right now there's no world tour. So, for example, this is, a little bit frustrating because it's like I don't have a job because I cannot really compete in a proper tour, so that's a little bit disappointing. But I've done some mistakes in my life. I've got some hard moments where I got injured, or what I lost against my opponents, and and you just have to fight for it. And those things are easy because if it depends on yourself, you can overcome those obstacles. But if it's something out of your power, let's say like the world tour not having, tour stops and stuff, then it's a bit harder because it gets in your mind and you're like a little bit disappointed. So it's kind of tricky. You have to balance all that.
And it's a frustration that I know many people in the audience will probably understand because it's a bureaucratic frustration.
Exactly. At the end, you realize how sometimes the human beings are selfish, and you don't think about the sport, but you think about yourself, and you think about, okay, I want to have a tour, and I want to get advantage of the sport, but I'm not doing a proper tour for the athletes or for the sport itself or for everything, because they don't do it with passion. They do it because they have interest. So that's a little bit disappointing sometimes.
Your last world title was in 2015.
Exactly.
From that moment on, you've done a lot of different challenges. Some of them are super scary.
Well,
big waves.
yeah,
Super scary. I'm sorry, super scary.
it is super scary, but it's something I just started now.
Mm-hmm.
And I got the opportunity to go to Hawaii and surf Jaws, which is one of the biggest waves and most famous waves as well. And it wasn't huge, but it was quite big. And right now, I am on that challenge and trying to find big waves around the world and kiting, with my kite and my surfboard. And it's pretty cool. It's scary, but it's something that motivates me. When it's something new that you haven't done, you always have to try to find those things,
There's business people know about this. There's a risk-benefit assessment.
Exactly.
How do you manage that in your head?
It's a really good question because it could be very easy for me as I've been doing freestyle all my life. Because in kitesurfing you have different disciplines. I was doing freestyle, which is jumping and doing tricks. And it could be really easy for me to stick to that, do freestyle all my life, something I'm good at, and then I would keep my sponsors, keep my job, and have a consistent life, let's say. But instead of that, I just try to think about other projects, and it involves risk because maybe sponsors don't approve, or maybe I don't get to finish that project. Like the big wave surfing, at the end I had to transition from freestyle to wave riding, and it took a little bit of time, to adapt to a new sport, a new discipline. Then, travel around the world and find the waves. It's hard. They're not always there. Mm-hmm. You need a special conditions. You need big swell. you need a lot of wind, you need a lot of power of the ocean, to have the big waves. So it's pretty hard because sometimes you don't really know if it's worth it, the risk, or not. But I just do it because of me, I just do it because I love it, and I really don't care about what's happening around. I just want to do it because I feel it. So, yeah.
From what you explain, there you need a lot of strength, a lot of mental discipline, a lot of technical prowess and capacity, and a lot of instinct to know how things are going to change in your environment.
It's a combination of all the things and that I think I've learned through the years, because competing since I was 10 years old gave me so much. It's true that I had to sacrifice a few things, like not spending time with my family, especially with my mom, because we moved from Barcelona to Tarifa, where I practice my sport. But then, it gives you so much reward that you don't think about the negative parts of it. You just think about how great everything is and how much you learn, how much knowledge you get from everything, not only competing, but traveling around the world, getting to know people and stuff like this. And at the end, it's amazing. And you're right, it's about instinct a lot, and I think I've learned that through the years.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about there's only one Gisela Pulido, but there's a big team that you need for that person to reach her goals. You need your family. Your dad has been a fundamental presence throughout your career and your life, and also your sponsors, who are Red Bull at the moment. How do you choose the people to work with? How do you manage that?
Well, it's hard because in my sport, it's not a mainstream sport, and it's hard to have a big team. So we are not a big team. We are a small team, but really like the key things, like of course my dad, and he was the one who taught me how to kite. He's my mentor. He was training, and I lived with my dad since I was 8 years old in Tarifa with him, so it was like 24/7. So he's a really important part of my life, and for sure I need him a lot. Then I have my manager, who is with me now for this 2 years only, but I have an amazing relationship with him, and he has helped me a lot. And of course my sponsors, for example, the ones I have on the kite is Movistar and Red Bull, who have been with me since I was 10 years old, and I'm 24, so 14 years old. 14 years riding with Movistar and Red Bull, it's insane, and I can call them my friends, my family, and not a sponsor anymore, it's like, it's more than that, so it's pretty cool. And at the end you need, to surround yourself with people and with good people to help you to achieve your goals, because it's not smart to think you can do it all by yourself, for sure.
Your experience of precociousness is very extreme, and in this environment we're talking for people who set up startups, and usually a lot of the people start very young, but people change. I mean, from the age of 10 to the age of 24, you've become a woman.
Exactly.
Are your dreams the same? Is your maturity changed what your dreams used to be like?
I think my maturity changed very fast from like the 18 until the 24, which those years I've learned so much more than the previous years, because I felt that when I was training and competing with my dad, it was ABC life, like wake up, school, training, and sleep. So I didn't really get to develop myself as a person, and I was developing myself as an athlete. I was achieving world titles and competing around the world, and it was great. But I felt that I wasn't growing up as a person so much as I did now when I turned 18, and I kind of like took a different path. My dad, he was always there, but I kind of took my own way. And now with 18 until 24, I've changed. I'm still the same little girl that loves to kite and compete and stuff, but I've changed so much, in terms of growing up as a person, my values, what I appreciate. Like, I'm super conscious about the environment. For example, I'm vegan. I don't eat anything from the animals, neither fish or meat or eggs, anything. So full vegan. Super conscious about the pollution and stuff. So those little things, that you just realize when you're getting older and you get as a person. So it's pretty cool how humans can change so fast, in such a little time.
Also, you have a very intense relationship with the sea, so you you've probably
Yeah.
seen it firsthand, what's happening there.
I've seen it, yeah. It's a shame because sometimes I feel ashamed of humans, to be honest, because we think about the short term and we want to, get so much in a short term, but we don't think that the planet Earth has to be here for long for our kids and the kids of our kids, and it is good to think ahead of us. And I'm super conscious because I practice water sports, and for me the ocean it's like my home, So I treat my home like I want it. So I treat the ocean like my home, and I keep my home clean and everything. So exactly, so I don't throw, like I've seen many places, especially South America or Africa, that people really don't care about, throwing stuff on the ocean, and then you're surfing and you find plastic bags while you're surfing. That's the least, but then all the fish and all the animals that are, living in the ocean are the ones who have more consequences. So, yeah, we have to be conscious.
So, apart from being a world top sportswoman, you've created a small business.
I did, yeah.
You've got 2 schools, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a shop. How do you manage your business interests? How do you incorporate that into your routine?
It's hard because I'm always thinking about projects, especially linked with my kite schools and my shops. But it's so hard because right now I have a career as an athlete, and I don't have time during the day to do so much because I have to train, then I have to study university, and then I have to take care of the business that I have. So right now I keep it quite small. I have it's a family business. My mom is in Tarifa. She works at the school and she takes care of the shop as well. My father lives in Panama, and we have the other school over there and the shop. And then I have both my parents helping me out, and I take care a little bit of behind, making sure that they have all the material, all the gear, making sure things run good. And it's hard, but I would like to grow it more and make like more schools around the world. But it's hard right now, so I want to keep it consistent and stable. And maybe when I'm retired, I can focus on that.
Well, there's a long time to go for that. Having schools, you recognize talent in others in the same way as talent was recognized in you when you were very little. How did you were 10, you were the world champion, and you were only 10. How did the relationship with your rivals change? Because at first they must have thought, oh, look at this nice little girl.
Yeah.
And then they thought, wow, she's going to beat us all.
Yeah, it's hard because at the beginning they take you like something funny, like, oh, such a little kid competing, it's cool, it's fun. Then when I started to win, they didn't like it, of course. Like, I think about it now, and I wouldn't like a 10-year-old girl beating me, of course. I remember one of the biggest challenges I've had was all the girls decided to make a votation, and they didn't allow me to compete.
Really?
Yeah, because they said I was too small and it was dangerous. And then, yeah, I had to compete in another tour, and then I was able to compete in the professional tour when I was 13, finally. Mm-hmm. And I still managed to do really good over there. So, sometimes it's difficult, but at the end, after I became the world champion, I got the respect from all the women, so it was great.
Is it possible to have friendships in elite sports?
Well, I think friendship is a very, for me, to call someone a friend is quite important. Mm-hmm. So I don't think I could be friends like, friends for me is like the family you don't have, is like the family you choose, right? And I wouldn't say I would, be friends with my rival, especially because if I have to compete against someone that's my friend, I would be more vulnerable. Mm-hmm. So I try to keep, that distance a little bit. I'm super friendly to everyone. I'm open-minded. I talk with everyone, but I keep that friendship line quite strict, I would say. Yeah.
Well, actually, time is nearly up.
Yeah,
I'm very sorry. This went very fast.
Yeah.
If you had one secret, one recommendation to really enjoy what you do, what would you think it would be?
I would say that whatever you do in life, you have to do it because it's something that you love and it's your passion. And then the success comes naturally because you just don't have to force anything, right? For me, being the world champion in kitesurfing, it came naturally because I was competing with my dad around the world, and we just realized, you know, I became the world champion. It was a surprise, and it was because we had passion for it, we had, you know, love for it, and I'd say that if you want to succeed, I'd say that you choose something that you love, and don't do it because of the money, or don't do it because of the reward, or the whatever reason. Do it because you feel it, you know? That's the key thing, I'd say.
Well, thank you very much. I
Welcome.
hope kitesurf becomes an Olympic sport. And
I
we
hope
can
so
see
too.
you there.
I hope so too. Representing Spain.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks, guys.